The anticipation has been mounting for nearly 9 months, but we can finally say that USL League One is back tonight as league newcomers Fort Lauderdale CF host 2019 finalists Greenville Triumph SC. Glad to have you all with us tonight as soccer finally hits the pitch in Inter Miami CF Stadium just west of Fort Lauderdale. I'm Chris McCovic here with you for the action this evening. Rain has continued to fall last night into today, but things seem to be opening up as we enter the second chapter of USL League One soccer. The recently released format in front of a 16-game season, and you can see the breakdown of those 16 games right there. The key 5 substitutions for each team in each of these matches. We'll see how the coaches use that to their advantage as we move ahead in the season. In front of us, Greenville, of course, the runners-up last year, hungry as they enter the new confines for Fort Lauderdale CF. And for Fort Lauderdale CF, kind of the spotlight this season will be their young talent. As we saw with the champions, North Texas SC last year, some young faces from their academy coming up, getting a pro opportunity out of Fort Lauderdale CF in USL League One. Ian Frey and also Francisco Raggio, the two lone signees under USL Pro contracts, but you can see Ascona and Cardenas, two players we should see join the attack here tonight and maybe even starting as we get to our starting lineups shortly as we move ahead into the action. Well, the first test for the young talent of Fort Lauderdale CF, this Greenville defense, and we all know how fantastic they were last year. Dallas J, the backbone of that defense, that we got to see him take Goalkeeper of the Year and the Golden Gloves. And at the end of the day, they do lose 2 starters to that back line, but that chemistry is the real question in this. Will they be top-notch as they were as they move through the season to get 14 clean sheets over the course of the season? Well, coming up, USL League One soccer is back. Greenville, the runners-up. Can they notch a win in the column to start off the season against the newcomers, Fort Lauderdale CF? USL League One soccer back on ESPN+. Welcome back here into Fort Lauderdale, and for the first ever time, Fort Lauderdale CF, here's their starting 11. And you can see already we're going to have to technically break down this a little bit as we move into tonight's action. Back 3 or 5, as we've seen with Inter Miami at times already this season, might be what we're headed for. But notice Sammy Gadiri in there, the former Greenville Triumph player. He'll be in the midfield for tonight's action to start off with, along with Ricky Lopez-Espin, the striker early in the season for Lansing Ignite in 2019. For Greenville Triumph SC, prototypical lineup for John Harkes that we saw last year. Paul Klaus is out tonight, and Noah Pilato sliding right into that spot in the midfield, but a lot of familiar faces out there. Weirdly enough, from Tormenta, the striker Alex Morel joining Greenville, actually scored the first goal in League One history against the Triumph last year, and now joining John Harkes in this squad in their endeavor to bring home the title here in 2020. Of course, Mohammed's on the right wing as well. Abdi and Omar, the cousins, a real great story we'll get into later with them joining together on the same professional team for the first time in their 2 careers. Already something to keep an eye on for Greenville as they break the huddle on the left side. Who's up top? Alex Morel, we saw at times with Tormenta in that spot, but also Jake Keegan, leading goal scorer for Greenville last year. He'll be there to start, it seems, in the number 9 kit. Omar Mohammed on the left wing and Alex Morel on the right wing.
I don't know what you're saying. Just shoot the game at the field. Okay. So we can start? Shoot the game at the field.
Fort Lauderdale CF out there with the white and black kit on for the first time in their history in Inter Miami CF Stadium. And we're off and underway here. USL League One is back. Fort Lauderdale and Greenville doing battle. I'm Chris McKovic here bringing you the action just west of Fort Lauderdale. And already we'll see a touch at the back by Dallas J in the all red. Aaron Walker gets it off the deflection. A long ball, tried to work it ahead. Already we're seeing a pretty high back line for Fort Lauderdale CF as Mendez heads it over. Darce, one of a couple Cuban players on this side. As already we're seeing a foul in the early going. Apologies for the technical difficulties at the moment as we work on getting some audio here from the field proceedings. Morel knocks it forward. Fort Lauderdale CF already showing that ability to get out of tight areas. And there's Brandon Fricky sending the ball over to Abdi Mohammed. He's on loan from NYCFC of MLS2 Memphis 901 FC last year. Now joining his cousin Omar on the Triumph. Out of play, and that will go to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale really building the roster, kind of a glimmer of some veteran ability and experience along with a pretty young squad overall. Servando Carrasco in the middle overseeing things, and he's one that really looks to take over that leadership role as Keegan unable to keep that in play. So much experience, 9 years playing in Major League Soccer. This is what we've seen from Inter Miami to start the year as well, building from the back, and something we talked about with the Director of Player Development for the organization, Darren Powell, who's coaching tonight and overseeing Fort Lauderdale CF. That really, it is kind of a vertical integration approach, top to bottom, trying to keep the same formation and style to move players up to the first team. But kind of a hybrid with that, a combo of things, but one thing they do want to stay true to is building from the back. Darren Powell, of course, familiar with the USL, head coach of San Antonio FC for a few years. And USL Championship. Fricky dealing with traffic, gives it away. A foul is called, as there would have been a wide open hole there in the back line of Greenville. As Evan Lee works it back over to Jay. And Jay and the defense just stellar in 2019. But they have had some changes. Cole Seiler retiring as Morrell tries to get to the final third. So will be, in the end, cleared out of play. And also, Kevin Paulitz being transferred over to Hartford Athletic in his native Connecticut. Ball in, Abdi Muhammad over everyone towards Omar Muhammad. Cardenas almost getting there. Back in, Polak, header on, but right into the open arms of Castanera, the former Atlanta United 2 keeper. Darce, the 19-year-old, out of the back. Fort Lauderdale stretching things. And Lee gaining the advantage. Touched out of play, and it's a throw-in. Abdi Muhammad will come over to take it. Muhammad out of Westerville, Ohio. Keegan on the run against Mendez. He'll get to the ball. Not quite the angle he wanted at first, though. Flicks it over. Morrell on the run and cleared out of play. Greenville will stay on the attack. A throw-in near the corner flag. Keegan's ability on the offensive end, something the Triumph really missed on their playoff run. He missed the final 6 games plus the playoffs after gaining an injury in the match at Madison on August 28th.
They have it on auto.
That's when Gomez really came about with his scoring touch. Muhammad, Walker, Gomez there, left boot sends it into the stands. And it's a goal kick for Castanera. And welcome into the first match of the 2020 season in USL League One. First match in Inter Miami CF Stadium. Beautiful grounds here with the training facility across the street. And Natalie Simon overseeing things on the field today. Head referee in 4 League One matches last year, and all 4 matches saw at least 5 yellow cards, so we'll see if that's a theme today as well.
Thank you.
Out of play as Fort Lauderdale CF moves down the field. This is kind of what we expected, a 3-man back line. Off to a 5-man back line when they're out of possession. And Carrasco letting that go on. Adarce. I have a couple players here for Fort Lauderdale CF that have played for Fortuna SC, the Miami area amateur side. Such a huge Cuban influence. And this will go back out where we started about a minute ago. Here's Pilato. Comes over from Loudoun United. Morrell on the run once again, trying to stretch this right flank, but it'll go out of play. And back to Fort Lauderdale, who continue to be stuck in their own end, trying to play out of the back. With Darren Powell telling us ahead of this match that they haven't had any outside competition. So they're getting used to things as well. Carrasco coming back to help out. Chip up ahead, but right back to Abdi Muhammad. We'll send it back where it started. Handled well by Nodarse. Carrasco letting that one go on. And it found Pilato, who's stepping up. Walker and Clouds were the combo in the defensive midfield for Greenville. Great chemistry there and balance. We'll see how much Pilato steps up or Walker on the attack. Now Pollock, Keegan, open space. Keegan a whack at it from far out, right into the open arms of Castanera. 9 minutes in and already a couple saves.
Are you up?
For the former Columbia player in college.
So are you wide?
Well, so far I am. I'm just shooting it like a game. He's not taking
2018
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Ivy League Defensive
he's
Player of the
out.
Year. And once again, Fort Lauderdale CF giving away the ball. Keegan's there. Tried to get it to Gomez. No good. Ascona. Someone that Darren Powell's very excited about. Jason Christ, the head coach, but he would be on U23 duty with the U.S. men's national team, but instead he's using that time to scout some talent at the MLS's back tournament in Orlando.
Because I'm the only one on the action, right?
Ascona trying to work the give and go. Good touch there.
To one. Bring it down to.
Rosales down the right flank.
Yeah, Mark, here's you on camera. What am I, camera 2?
Francisco Raggio. Carrasco moves it ahead, and Pollock there with a bit of a takedown. And a free kick. Great opportunity here for Fort Lauderdale. Not only to get out of their own end, but have a chance here to put some pressure on Dallas J. Now for the first time, we get to see Fort Lauderdale, how they look with in the set piece department. Bit of sun glare here in the evening. Ball sent in, and Jay is right there. And can Greenville start the counterattack? Jay chipping it ahead. Up and out of play. Cardenas was there. And up comes Abdi Mohammed. Natalie Simon all over it, backing him up now. Darren Powell in his position oversees the whole academy, U12 on up to this USL side. And Fort Lauderdale CF is a real barometer of the talent and moving up, getting opportunities like the ones we're seeing tonight. Offsides flag stays down. Ascona now on the left side. Bends it in and cleared away by Lee. Corner kick now for Fort Lauderdale. They're finding some space up the field. Ascona, 5 goals with the U17 team in the academy this past year. Native of Deerfield Beach. As Francisco Raggio comes over to take the corner. He and Frey, the ones signed to USL deals, as this is dangerously cleared by Keegan, but cool, calm, and collected is the striker of the Triumph. Get that out of play. Looks like we'll switch sides for this one. "13 minutes in, 0-0 in our USL League One first match. First ever match for Fort Lauderdale.
They're going to do it for you. Oh. Yeah. Just shoot the white.
Sent in, back post, headed up and over. It looked like Lopez Espin there. And now Jay with a goal kick, but so far, Fort Lauderdale peppering the chances on Greenville from the set piece. You see Lopez Espin, number 7 there at the top of the box. He's one of 3 League One players that were able to score at least 2 goals against Greenville last year. In 2 matches for Lansing Ignite, he did so. The other, Stephen beat it with his hat trick. In 1 match, a 3-2 win for Chattanooga over Greenville. And Devin Jomga for Tucson. Top of the box, Raggio there, but so is Muhammad. And a tackle sending it up the field. Ferry gives us one off. Mendez steps up the field. Blaine Ferry going down, native of South Lake, Texas. Played in the German lower leagues last year. Has some appearances with the U.S. youth national teams. Looks like Raggio will take some of these set pieces here this evening. Ball whipped in, volleyed away. And most of Greenville's attack so far tonight has been the counter attack. Able to get a ton going. Darce now. The defender still up the field, but called for the foul there. Maybe the handball on the bounce off the arm. Look on the sidelines, John Harks and also Darren Powell here, both overseeing things. And it will be on a regular basis when Jason Christ has to be away with U23 duty for the U.S. men's national team. Powell will take over, and he has been at the training sessions throughout the preseason, getting set for tonight. Great pressure there from Cardenas. Lee stuck in a tough spot. Raggio with the pressure. Now Jay has to heave this downfield. Muhammad long ball, a bit too long for Gomez. And it's back to Castanera. Improving the goal department, a real focus for Greenville in the offseason. They struggled at times, especially at the start of 2019, to get it going. Long scoring 2 goals or more twice in the first 12 games. That feat happened 6 times over the final 16 games of the regular season. As offsides, the flag is up, and Fort Lauderdale getting the ball back. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL League One and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. Ascona. Chipped up ahead. Almost a volleyed opportunity there to keep it for Sammy Gadiri. Gadiri making the Greenville Triumph roster last year after coming on as a community trialist. He is a native of Boca Raton. 17 appearances for the Triumph last year, including subbing on in the League One semifinal, a 1-0 victory for Greenville at Lansing. Come on, Muhammad winning the ball. There's John Harks. His second season at the helm. Now Morrell. Morrell getting it back. Knocked ahead, but Keegan couldn't get there. May have been offsides as well. John Hark saying he was really happy with the chances they created. It was just the execution in the final third. That final step before tallying the goals. Carrasco over the top. On the run is Ascona, but so is Jay. And off to Muhammad. Of course, no fans in attendance today, and Greenville announced that that'll be the case as well for their home opener against Richmond next weekend. It's a bit different audio here. You get to hear the coaches a bit more with their, well, coaching on the sidelines and adjustments. And the players communicating. There's Brandon Fricky, teammates for half the season with Lopez Espin. Keegan on the run, and Mendez bodies him away at the right angle, forcing now the clearance out of play. Here's Pollock. Aaron Walker. Up ahead, Abdi Muhammad in the box, brings it down, cross right over, no one there. And it will be a corner kick after a deflection. It looked like Jake Keegan was making the run there. Couldn't get there in time, though. Now Greenville with a key set piece. See what they can make of it. Two of their key set piece targets, though, are players that not on the team any longer. Seiler and Politz. On non-penalty kick set pieces, scored on 2% of their opportunities. So another area that they are trying to get some success from here in 2020. Ball sent in, Castanera fists it away. Pollock the header right back to the keeper's arms. He'll slow things up. There's Carrasco. Racing forward, sliding in was Pilato, but it's right back with Mendez. Fort Lauderdale welcoming the pressure as they heave the balls down the field. Fricky finding Pollock.
Thank you very much.
Raggio. Pilato again getting a stop in the midfield. And Fort Lauderdale trying to catch Greenville out again. Ball sent in. Lopez Espin couldn't get a header to it. Blaine Ferry. Ascona, Bender, diving step by Jay, second opportunity, another save. Cardenas keeping up the attack, deflected into the arms of Jay. And already having to show why he was the goalkeeper of the year in 2019. What a double stop. Lopez Espin not able to get to that one, but resetting quickly was Fort Lauderdale. Ascona stopped with the left paw, and then good positioning by Jay to get the stop on Lopez Espin. Foul called, free kick to the Triumph. Bullock, Walker, Muhammad standing over the ball. Bullock 3 assists last year, all league, first team. Walker, side by side, the dual captains in 2019. Walker whips it in. Castanera right there. Not really a threatening set piece. The keeper will take that every time. For Fort Lauderdale, just like Greenville, missing really a projected starter out of the gates for them. Eduardo Sosa out for the match this evening. He should be a real threat in the attacking midfield. Was when he had his opportunities with Columbus in MLS last year. Abdi Mohammed will clear that with the header, and it'll bounce, luckily for Greenville there, out for a Fort Lauderdale throw-in. I'm sure hearing the Jets will be a normal thing here at Inter Miami CF Stadium, the executive airport adjacent to the stadium. And of course, Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport nearby as well, about 10-minute drive away. Sammy Gadiri getting set for the throw-in. Here's Fricky. Walker back to Lee. High pressure again from Raggio and Fort Lauderdale, and it pays off. Rosales, Cuban defender, stepping up, drilling one high into the stands. Rosales playing with the Cuban youth national teams, U20s and U17s. There's Gomez. Looking wide right, chips it ahead. Abdi Mohammed again with the overlapping run, but too far out of play. Brian Rosales, among many of these players for Fort Lauderdale, seeking the real opportunity here to break into professional ranks of soccer in the United States. He was on the then Tulsa Roughnecks, now FC Tulsa roster last year, as Walker gets an opportunity here, bends it, knocked up and out of play, and it'll be a corner kick for Greenville as they win that from the back. Unfortunately, his paperwork was blocked in a way by his native country. He was unable to take the field for Tulsa. Now getting an opportunity locally in the Miami area here with Fort Lauderdale CF. Getting the start here today. Morel over the ball. 3 assists for Tormenta last year. Chips it back, post headed on and fisted away by Castanera. Both these keepers have had to come up huge early on tonight. Another look here, and it was Walker getting the header off despite the contact. Morel. Low driven ball, headed away. Abdi Mohammed under it. Back to Morel. Morel cuts in, but his pass there knocked away. Now Mohammed. Not really anyone in the area. Walker will try to make something of this. Rosales knocking it ahead to Lee. Down the left flank comes Gadiri. Walker chips it, but it goes out on the far side. Did take a deflection along the way. It will stay with Greenville. Don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for your team and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Cardenas. Left side of the box, met by Walker. Gadiri. Bashed away by Abdi Mohammed. Now Gomez trying to chip it back to Keegan. Mishandles it. Now Mendez brought down, and it's a free kick. Pollock unable to get the stop. Lee has to help out. Former Richmond kicker. Nice pass there, or attempt by Keegan as Morrell made the run. And that will bring us to our first of 2 hydration breaks this evening. Here in the 30th minute, 0-0 Greenville and Fort Lauderdale. Now let's take a look at the Inter Miami CF stadium and facility, and really a beautiful facility. Before what was supposed to be the start of the season, our crew got to take a look inside it while the construction was still underway, and really beautiful grounds, beautiful training pitches as well for the training center. Really an amazing area, the Lockhart site back in the Miami Fusion days and for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, but a new age now for Inter Miami CF and, of course, Fort Lauderdale CF. This will continue to be the training facility as well, and the location of Fort Lauderdale CF when Inter Miami and their squad moves to their new stadium in Major League Soccer, closer to Miami. And a gorgeous location alongside the Executive Airport, a few minutes down the road from Fort Lauderdale. As John Harkes goes over things with his squad, and just have not been able to take care of the opportunities, the giveaways at the back by Fort Lauderdale. So far, the chance of the match really has to be that Lopez Espin header. Excuse me, not header, but second opportunity right on the doorstep. And Jay making the stop after that strike by Ascona at the top of the box. And we should see plenty of depth this evening on both sides, considering each match, each team gets 5 substitutions here in the 2020 season. And unfortunately, no fans able to be in attendance with the COVID restrictions, but it will be a great cathedral once we're able to have fans here for each match. John Harkes getting his final words in. Coached many of the players at FC Cincinnati in 2016. So far, Greenville, they want to get the counterattack going. They can possess the ball as well. They've been trying to, it seems, absorb the pressure from Fort Lauderdale, take advantage of it. But so far, the 3 center back line for Fort Lauderdale CF has held true. Pretty even on shots so far. Big saves by both keepers. And we're back underway after the hydration break. Again, the first match of the USL League One season. Newcomers Fort Lauderdale CF hosting 2019 finalist and Greenville Triumph SC. I'm Chris Makovic here. Happy to have you with us. The first real match here at Inter Miami CF Stadium as well. Here's Gadiri. Back to Castanera. Gadiri playing sort of that left wing back role. So far, possession, an edge for Fort Lauderdale CF. That matches pretty well what we have seen so far. Abdi Mohammed couldn't keep control of that one. It goes out of play. Raggio. 3 goals and 13 starts for the U19 side. Inter Miami Academy, formerly with Weston FC, before that the Portland Timbers Academy. Now Lopez Espin, but well off sides there as Greenville was able to work the trap to their advantage. As Jay will come up and take this kick. Now Fricke. All-league second team for the center back with Lansing Ignite last season. Touch there by Gadiri. Cardenas trying to get the touch, and indeed he does. Native of Doral, Florida. With Weston FC before the Inter Miami Academy. Chipping it ahead for Lopez Espin, knocked back down by Fricke. Mohammed goes down after the touch from behind. And we'll see our first talking to. As Azcona avoiding the book, at least for now. A pair of West Coast matchups highlight your Sunday schedule as the USL Championship continues its 2020 season. The Donner Pass Derby kicks things off at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 as both Sacramento Republic FC and Reno 1868 FC look to take early control of Group A. An hour later at 10 Eastern on ESPN Deportes, San Diego Loyal SC takes on LA Galaxy 2 in Group A action. Don't miss single second Sunday on the ESPN family of networks. Lee at the back. Carrasco. Pollock stepping up. Now Walker. These midfielders for Greenville just getting swarmed as soon as they get the ball with the numbers in midfield for Fort Lauderdale. Walker. Mohammed. Somehow through the contact with Azcona. Staying with it. Greenville getting some numbers forward here. Pilato. Through ball down the left flank. Pollock up ahead. Keegan couldn't get there. An easy grab for Castanera. Lee steps up. And that'll be a free kick for Fort Lauderdale, and the first card of the season goes to Evan Lee. Pretty clear takedown as Lee stepped up. Now Gadiri. Muhammad thought he had it. Up and out of play. Darren Powell communicating with his players. Oversaw the Orlando Academy. While Jason Christ was there. Blaine Ferry through traffic, over. Quick turn by Raggio, but knocked away by Polak. Now Carrasco. Try the right side with Cardenas. End line, cuts it back over. Still deflecting around and finally cleared by Lee. Ferry gets it back from Gadiri. Raggio couldn't get control of that pass. Only Keegan all the way up at midfield to try to get after that. Muhammad now on the right wing. Castanera driving this down the field. Able to be kept in play by Rosales. After the first about 10 minutes of action, Fort Lauderdale has really slowed down Greenville. Came out with the attacking pressure early on. But once home side was able to figure things out a bit, knock some of the rust off, seamlessly moving down the field. As Kona there, getting another talking to. Keegan couldn't get the quick turn down. And Lee back to it. There's Pilato. Quickie trying the long ball. Omar Muhammad could not get there in time. And it's another goal kick for Castanera. Game slowing down quite a bit. This is the first real competition for either side as the pandemic has ensued. Raggio cleared out of play. Lopez, that's been miscommunication with Gadiri. Abdi Mohammed and Omar playing on the same field. Professionally for the first time, the moments they were on the field together for Somalia, their national team. First time they were on the field together at any pro level, but that for the country. Helping the Ocean Stars to some results, and Omar Muhammad even tallying a goal. But when moving to the United States, Abdi Muhammad's family established themselves in the Columbus, Ohio area, and Omar Muhammad's family followed soon after. Moved into the same area. They grew up playing together, same club soccer teams, but diverged a bit once the college years hit, as Omar Muhammad went pro, FC Cincinnati with John Harkes, and Abdi Muhammad chose the college soccer route. Ended up at Ohio State and Akron. Now back together here with the Triumph. Polak gets it stolen away, Ascona. Abdi Muhammad with it. He's brought down, no foul is called. We play on. 45th minute. Back and forth we go. Omar Muhammad through ball, no good. Stopped by Gadiri. Greenville tracking back. Raggio left side. Lopez Espin unmarked but offsides once again is the Miami native. Lopez Espin, quite the journey to get here with the Inter-Miami organization. It's actually the third MLS organization he's been with. Started out with Real Salt Lake. Saw some time with Real Monarchs SLC. Before the start of last season, he was a pick for LAFC in the MLS waiver draft, but didn't appear for the side. Left them before the start of the season, and then he ended up with Nate Miller at Lansing Ignite, playing in 8 matches. Out of play, and it goes to Greenville off of Ascona. You can see 3 minutes of stoppage time here in Fort Lauderdale. There's Walker. Polak. Rosales stepping up. Morel on the run. Mendez coming over to help out. Morel goes down, no foul. Abdi Muhammad again, another interception. Through ball, Morel's gonna get there. Cuts it back over, Keegan puts it wide. What an opportunity. It looks like Greenville's trying to appeal for the penalty. They made something out of nothing, really. Morel and Gomez both were going after the ball, and Keegan got a chance out of it, all from the interception by Abdi Muhammad. Another look. Keegan got all of his right boot to it. Brought down from behind, but no foul inside the box as Nodarsic came in at the end of things. That's the counterattack the Triumph have tried to get going, but this formation for Fort Lauderdale really bringing down the momentum of the Triumph. There's Gomez. Picking up his head, here's Omar Muhammad, right side. Ball out of play. It's to the home side. Final few seconds ticking off from our first half of League One soccer here in 2020. Pretty even battle overall. Both sides knocking the rust off early. Now Walker getting physical there. Chips it ahead. Morel on the run in the box. Morel strikes. Scored in the first match in 2019, and he scores this time for Greenville for the first match of 2020. What a ball here. Walker battling in the play, picks up his head and finds the running former Tormenta player and slides it right on by the keeper. 1-0 to the Triumph at the end of the first half. He scored 4 times in 2019. That's his first in the green and blue. And with that, we end our first half action. Greenville having the final say in the first 45. They're up 1-0 at the break. In Fort Lauderdale, it looked better and better as the first half went on. But Greenville's counterattack finally came through from that man, Alex Morrell. 1-0 to the Triumph at the break. Of course, we'll be back with more coverage here from Inter Miami CF Stadium. As at the break, it's 1-0 to the Triumph in the first match of the 2020 USL League One season. Welcome back to halftime here at Inter Miami CF Stadium. USL League One teams are continuing to prove they are members of their communities. The COVID-19 crisis helped shed a light on some of the good work that is done by these soccer clubs around the country. We wanted to look at the many ways these front offices, coaching staffs, and players reached out to help those who needed it during the pandemic. The Kraft family, along with the New England Revolution and New England Patriots, participated in the Food for Vets charity to provide more than 2.5 million meals for veterans and their families. They also teamed with the Massachusetts Military Support Foundation for a Super Bowl event at Gillette Stadium in June. Food packages were delivered in time for Father's Day and included such summer barbecue essentials like hot dogs and hamburgers. The Richmond Kickers partnered with their television partner CBS 6 to create the Rally Together Fund, selling rally towels to fight hunger in the Richmond area. They provided over 16,000 meals to families in need in their home market. South Georgia Tormenta grabbed needles and thread and made masks for local hospitals. When not doing individual workouts at home, the team fashioned over 100 masks, which were donated to Emory and St. Joseph's hospitals in the Savannah market. Tormenta's players, fans, and staff also raised $2,000 for the Bullock County NAACP. Forward Madison conceived of a match versus COVID-19 and sold tickets to raise money to purchase meals from local restaurants to donate to hospitals to feed healthcare workers operating on the front line. The team, thanks to ticket sales and donations, raised over $20,000. Greenville Triumph also put together a Match to Triumph fundraiser, selling tickets to benefit the Greenville chapter of the United Way. The team announced a sellout of over 4,000 tickets, raising over $40,000. New England also continued their Special Olympics of Massachusetts Unified Team signings, having players sign their contracts this season virtually. Many teams were active on social media and offered fans fun ways to interact. Richmond's athletic training staff did a virtual warm-up, encouraging folks to stay active safely while participating in quarantine. Greenville announced a branded local brew to hit the stores as Riot Blondale and had a launch party just prior to the start of the season. Richmond and CBS 6 found creative ways to keep people active during the quarantine as they continue their efforts on social media. In addition to unveiling a Pride kit, Forward Madison sold specially made t-shirts to donate money to a local food bank, raising over $3,000 for an emergency fund. The club also offered no-contact merchandise sales on Fridays during the pandemic. Speaking of great gear, Tormenta and partner the Sack Company came up with this special shirt where sales generated money which became meals for locals through the local restaurant, the Clubhouse. Over 166 meals were donated and sales continue through the Clubhouse even now. Even in shutdown, these teams remain active members of their communities and the work continues even into the start of the season. We will have more here from Fort Lauderdale, but let's take a look at more news from around the USL.
To bring professional soccer back into our communities and across the ESPN family of networks. Follow your local club and don't miss these exciting matches coming up on ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes.
Chance and buried for Atlanta.
Sante going for goal. What a strike. Catching Romero off his line.
One of the key components of USL clubs establishing reserve teams through the USL Academy League is the strategic alignment of long-term player development efforts. As opposed to the scholastic calendar that traditional youth leagues typically follow, and in an effort to further drive vertical integration, the USL Academy League will be the first pre-professional league to align with the American professional soccer calendar. Clubs will begin the year with a month-long preseason in February, followed by a 9-month regular season split into 3 cycles: spring, summer, and fall, concluding with USL Academy League playoffs before an off-season in December and January. Clubs will be able to move players fluidly through programs at select times throughout the year. These transfer windows strategically line the Youth Network, USL Academy Team, and USL Senior Team even further. For more information, visit usl-academy.com.
Around the USL here in League One in 2023, new teams. We're seeing one in front of us today, Fort Lauderdale CF and New England Revolution 2 and Union Omaha will join the bunch coming up next weekend. We'll have a total of 11 teams competing in League One this year, but of course 12 total. Toronto FC2 unable to compete due to some COVID restrictions. On the front for the entire USL, Louisville, of course, opening up their new Lynn Family Stadium last weekend. Beautiful venue, just like the one in front of us here today. Chattanooga and Tormenta inside League One will be looking to have their own stadiums underway on the pitch coming up shortly. For Chattanooga, it will be this season on August 1st that we'll get to see their new digs. In the USL and both ends, Championship and League One, of course, a great platform for players and coaches and staff to bring attention to the current issues in politics and culture here in the United States, and we have seen that already in some regards tonight throughout the USL. Now looking at League One specifically as we move into this kind of hybrid season, they moved to 16 games after, as I mentioned, Toronto FC2 had to pull out this season. That'll be combined into 15 weeks, and now kind of more of a format that we are keen to seeing in the league, as each team will play 6 opponents with a home and home format, and of course the further away opponents you only see for one match overall. The big get for the head coaches to kind of fortify their teams over this short stretch with depth will be the 5 substitutions. They'll have 3 opportunities to pause the match, and that's something that we'll see across the USL implemented last weekend and of course here tonight in League One. And finally, at the end of the season, top 2 teams advance to the League One final. No real playoff format, more of a table you have to pay attention to, with the top 2 getting a chance on October 31st to lift the trophy. The upcoming schedule next weekend after the appetizer here today, we'll see all the teams in action. Some great matchups that you'll see from 5 p.m. Eastern time all the way till the end of that North Texas Madison El Plastico derby at around 11 p.m. Eastern time. So tune in with us and we'll have all the coverage for you right here on ESPN+. Coming up, of course, highlights and stats from the first half as we continue from Inter Miami CF Stadium. Welcome back here to Inter Miami CF Stadium. 1-0 to the Triumph, literally at the break when Alex Morel scored, as we get set to check out our first half highlights here from Fort Lauderdale. Both sides a pretty even battle overall, and a lucky break there for the Triumph before halftime to get the edge on the scoreboard. And here are our first half highlights. And both keepers really had to make some stops early on. Some great chances for Fort Lauderdale CF, who really had the more of a quantity of chances in that first half. As we'll see here, Dallas J really had to come up big at times as Kona. Great shot there, diving stop by Jay, and a second one to come to get out of the situation, as Cardenas also got another opportunity therein with the cross. But already the goalkeeper of the year, showing why he got that award in 2019 with a double save there. Set pieces would start to come for Greenville. Here's Walker forcing a fisted save from the right side of Castanera. And here's Abdi Mohammed, a few interceptions for the new man in green, as he was able to spur on Morel, who cut it back, and Keegan got all of that one with the right boot, but sent it directly out of play. Another look, Morel with his speed on the wings has been able to get some opportunities for his teammates so far. And here's the key. Walker, physical, gets the ball back. Beautiful one, lobbed over the top of Morel. Just slides it in there on the wet surface into the back of the net. And 1-0 to the Triumph. And surely this will be a trivia question, as he has now scored the first goal in the first 2 seasons of USL League One soccer. Quite a remarkable thing on 2 different teams. Our match stats here at halftime. Greenville overall, more shots. But Fort Lauderdale has had their chances in this match to get on the board as they have dictated possession as they forced the Triumph to kind of back down a little bit with their high press. They were able to really pass the ball around well, get some openings up top, and we'll see how they adjust as we move into the second half. Earlier in the match, as we began things, all players and the referees knelt down at midfield. The USL Championship and League One. Its clubs and the players from across the USL have united against racism and are peacefully demonstrating before matches. An incredible platform to use to bring attention to those causes here in front of us. John Harkes having some words, and real key here in the second half, how both these coaches will use those 5 substitutions. Already, maybe John Harkes getting some words across as we prepare for the second half. We're off and running here in the first match of 2020. Greenville up 1-0 off the boot of Alex Morel. Again, I'm Chris Makoviak here, bringing you the action from Inter Miami CF Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. Inaugural match for Fort Lauderdale CF. They're back at home next week against FC Tucson, while Greenville will be hosting the Richmond Kickers. But for now, business to attend to, a final 45 minutes plus stoppage time as Fricky is stuck in the back. Keegan heads it on, and already Greenville on the break. Morel, too heavy of a touch. It goes out off of Nodarse. A good stop there considering it was 2v2. That's something we saw Keegan have success during last season. Ability kind of to sink into the midfield as another center attacking midfielder and spur on the wingers. Omar Mohammed, enough pressure there to draw the contact from Gadiri. It's a corner kick for the Triumph. Mohammed had 2 assists for Greenville last year, but he will give way to Alex Morel. Morel. Top of the box. Some trickery there to Pilato, but ball a little bit off as Morel sends it back. And Keegan running up, headed on, and back of the net. The leading goal scorer in 2019 finds his first here in 2020. 2-0 to the Triumph. A great connection there. Morel, after sending that corner kick in, comes over for the cross, and Keegan running alone heads the spinning ball into the back of the net. And the 2019 finalists off to a great start here in 2020. Mendez at the back. Rosales. Stepping up, the center back. Brought down, a foul is called. And Fort Lauderdale CF now an opportunity. Noah Pilato getting some words from Natalie Simon, our head official. Evan Lee getting a card in the first half. Francisco Raggio and Sammy Gadiri standing over the ball. 2-man wall for the Triumph here in the 49th minute. Gadiri headed away. It was only the green kit in the area. Ascona. Ferry. Ascona whips it in. Headed down and wide, and it was Evan Lee that got the touch there. It'll be a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale. The dangerous bodies in the area. That's one thing Fort Lauderdale has, a lot of height in there. There's Raggio, the native of Miami Beach. 18 years old. Polak. Morel putting some pressure on Rosales. Azcona, hit by Muhammad. Azcona again, lofts it in, Carrasco over. Lopez Espin turns, and nothing comes. Offsides again on Lopez Espin. The center forward left all alone in the middle of the box. Now Jay with a free kick. Another look here is Carrasco finding his open teammate, but just a hair off sides, it seems. Here's Polak. Both these head coaches, similar approaches to the pandemic stoppage. A lot of Zoom meetings, Zoom workouts. John Harkes said to us that he actually enjoyed having the small group training briefly before the full training workouts and practices, as that falls back to Castanheira, saying that really individually his players could work on a lot of technical things, positionally too, that they needed to work on individually. Darren Powell made the point to us that it's great for players to work individually, but soccer is a collective sport. Being on the same playing style and formation and same ideas out there is needed. So definitely pros and cons to the stoppage and play. As soon as full team training was available, John Harkes and the Greenville staff putting together a socially distanced barbecue. I was able to bring everyone together, of course, in a safe environment, considering the circumstances. With the gaffer, as Jay Keegan calls him, putting together some homework for his players as well, assigning them 2 matches from 2019 occasionally to dissect, take some notes from. We wanted to keep them mentally stimulated and ready when the time drew near, and here it is, our 2020 opener. Keegan cuts it back over, open opportunity, and maybe trying to find Gomez, but no, the offsides flag did go up on the far side. As the match goes on, we're starting to see some good combo play among this Greenville front line, getting that chemistry down. Azcona. He wanted Raggio, but angle was cut off by Walker. Now Abdi Mohammed. Polak looking downfield, a skipper. Now Castanheira takes it in. We're hearing that a substitution will be made shortly by the Triumph. I see a bit of a new look on the field with that one. Jay back and goes down with a late challenge from Cardenas. And immediately concerned about his opposing players. He will see yellow for this, though. Just at 17 years old, getting the opportunity today. J.J. Donnelly, former Tormenta man himself, coming on for Omar Muhammad. Joined the Triumph late in the season and a needed acquisition after Jake Keegan went down. So line up top. As Jay will send this down the field. Donnelly unable to score a goal. Last year for the Triumph in his 8 appearances. He was a needed threat holding up the ball up top for the wingers, and Gomez and Walker, of course, in the central midfield. Donnelly scoring 7 goals with Tormenta 2 last summer, winning the League 2 Southern Conference title. Here's Pollock. 2-goal lead for Greenville. They can spend some time here building up the field. Not too much of a rush as Walker takes it in. Left flank, Donnelly out wide to start off here. That's through traffic. Cardenas is there. Good stop by Donnelly, swept away as far as Aaron Walker. Now Pollock. The dummy leads an opening for Donnelly, lights it up and nearly enough power on it to knock it out of the hands of Castanera, but the keeper for Fort Lauderdale getting the save, and Mendez will bring us out of the back. Pollock with the challenge, bringing down Rosales. And it's a free kick for Fort Lauderdale. So again, what happened here? Keegan. Back towards Jay. He has to retreat and get this one. He will, and clears it downfield. Gomez with the pressure on Mendez. Deflected out for the throw-in. Darren Powell did acknowledge the advantage of being kind of the unknown side in the league entering today. They said there were a lot of other factors also at play that people should realize. Pro debuts, the first thing on his mind for a lot of these academy guys out on the field today. Through ball down the left side. Here comes Jake Keegan. Cuts back, floater in there, deflected. Back post is Morel. That'll be ruled a goal kick. Abdi Muhammad again getting an interception from the back. He has been aggressive from his right back spot. Not leading to anything there, though. On the missed pass. Plenty of numbers back for the Triumph as Fort Lauderdale trying to find their first goal in club history. Cardenas gets it knocked away. Ascona offsides there. It's brought back for Greenville here in the 60th minute. Fans, make sure to follow Fort Lauderdale CF, Greenville Triumph, and the rest of the USL League One all season long on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. And League One, of course, as was last year, your home for all the action here. Greenville, Fort Lauderdale CF on ESPN+. Ascona getting the free kick. Rosales. Throwing on the far side for Greenville. Fort Lauderdale CF getting set to make their first substitutions. Cardenas. Ferry. Cardenas back with it, central midfield. How many options? He'll send it out wide to Rosales. It's growingly built into the attack, getting forward for Fort Lauderdale. Out of play and back to the Triumph. Here come the substitutions. Ian making his debut. Coming on, the other player other than Raggio. Get a USL contract. As Mendez comes off for him, a like-for-like switch at center back. Native out of Coconut Creek, Florida, just up the road. And there's Saavedra also coming on. Making way was Francisco Raggio. Saavedra spending his time with the Inter Miami U17 squad. 8 appearances for them this past season. 16-year-old coming out of Miramar, Florida. Foul is called against Morel. Keegan brought down. Greenville starts to dictate this game a bit more. Donnelly up ahead. Bullock. Ball deflected right back to him. Donnelly on the run into the box. Carrasco. The ball down the field. Lopez Espin. Cardenas. Goes down and a foul is called. Evan Lee was there. And that's why Fort Lauderdale CF looking for the card, and the card is out. It's going to go to Noah Pilato for the previous foul. So Noah Pilato, it seems, was misidentified on the play. We're trying to get confirmation who that card was to, because Evan Lee is on a yellow from the first half. That's certainly why Fort Lauderdale CF wanted a card on the play so quickly. Ferry chips it in towards the end line, but too far for Lopez Espin. Goal kick to come. Here's Colin Stripling getting his debut in the green for the Triumph. Former FC Tucson man, running 10 appearances for Darren Sawatsky last year. He'll come on for Gomez. Stripling, a New Jersey native, of course. Went to Monmouth for 4 years. Came up playing club soccer for the PDA Harks team. A bit of irony there. And it was Aaron Walker on the previous play that did get that yellow card. As Muhammad handles this header. So Evan Lee on a yellow, Aaron Walker on a yellow. Donnelly winning it back for Greenville. Keegan scoops it over. Fort Lauderdale back the other way. Ball going out for Gadiri, back to Greenville. The USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs across the USL to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent. Following the success of the first Academy Cup events, clubs can now apply to participate in the USL Academy League, kicking off in spring 2021. For more information, visit usl-academy.com or search #USL Academy on social media. Donnelly through traffic. Goes down. Stripling finds the ball. Now Pilato. Out to Morrell, right wing. Now stepping up is Lee. Polak. The foul is called on Saavedra. Lee handling that well. Donnelly on the run, but he was offsides. And a free kick to Fort Lauderdale. They're trying to start to string something together ahead, but last few minutes it's been Greenville trying to really take the air out of the game. The recent substitutions, Pilato has stepped up a bit more in the midfield. Stripling taking over a little bit more of the defensive duties, it seems. Stripling, Donnelly to his left, hit by Rosales. Shot comes off balance and rolls right to Castanera. Two more substitutions getting set to come on for Fort Lauderdale CF. Now Ferry cutting through traffic. He goes down with a pass ahead two. That loops out of play. It's a goal kick. Here come the substitutions. Christian Lou Young will see his debut. Former Akron player in college. Second team All-MAC. Along with Dyron Reyes out of Hialeah. 2 goals and 3 starts for the Miami U17 Academy team this past season. Making his debut at 16 years old. Bullock will get us going again. 2-0 in favor of Greenville. And the 2020 opener for USL League One. Keegan after this one, so is Kadiri. Back to Stripling. Steps up. Lee drives it over the top. No one really making the run, but there's Morrell as no defender went after it. Scoops it in. Stripling can't find the header. Now Walker. He's scored a few times from outside the box there last season. Morrell. Fricky stepping all the way up. Here's the bailout. Mohamed. Ball sent in. Castanera punches it away. Now Ferry with the help of Reyes. Getting the ball back for Fort Lauderdale CF. Still time in this match, of course. 16 minutes plus stoppage time. Still that hydration break to come where Darren Powell can talk things over with his players. And here is that hydration break as Greenville leading 2-0 with their goals, bookends to halftime. They've been able to slow down this game for Fort Lauderdale CF in the second half. And now a look now at how we got here, the 2 goals. At the end of the first half stoppage time, beautiful ball over the top, Walker to Morrell, and into the back of the net. Beautifully weighted to the former Tormenta striker. First League One goal in 2019 and 2020 for him. Awkward corner kick, not much here until Morrell gets on the ball, and he gets an assist here with the ball in. Jake Keegan, header, up and in. That was just after halftime. And since then, Greenville has been in control. Morrell, a new man in green, a goal and an assist in his debut for the Triumph. Fort Lauderdale CF, they'll be back at home next Saturday here on ESPN Plus as they'll host FC Tucson for an 8 p.m. Eastern Time start. Greenville back at home in the friendly confines of Legacy Early College as they host the Richmond Kickers. 7 p.m. Eastern Time start on ESPN Plus for that one. As we'll get our first look at Darren Sawatsky and his squad making the jump from FC Tucson to Richmond and bringing along Kyle Venter, the talented center back, with him. About half the roster has remained the same for the Kickers, so we'll see what he has implemented. Brilliant and quick Tucson offense last season. Devin Jomga over, making the move to Tormenta, who Fort Lauderdale will see in a few weeks' time as they'll hit the road for 3 matches after this 2-game homestand to begin things. And the defending champions North Texas SC look a bit different to start the year, but that's how they started last year, some unknowns, and they were well known by the end of the year. Here's Greenville's upcoming matches. They'll take the trip up to Hart Park, face Madison in the Flamingos home opener. Pollock getting set, get us back underway. Darren Powell trying to get the moves going. Keegan caught up in traffic. Pilato back to Keegan. Carrasco, we get the deflection off of Keegan, out of play. A throw in on the near side for Fort Lauderdale CF. Handball back to Greenville. Just the ideal scenario. 2 goals or more on the scoreboard for John Harks and his men, and a clean sheet if they're able to get it. Muhammad. Stripling, draws the contact, and stays up through it from Carrasco. Donnelly. It's a goal kick for Castanera. Donnelly thought he had the corner kick turned around, and was a little surprised to say the least. As Fort Lauderdale CF trying to get something going here. Long ball out of play, back to Dallas J. Dallas J, that big moment in the first half to keep goose egg on the scoreboard for Fort Lauderdale CF with a double save on Azcona and Lopez Espin. Since then, Greenville has put up 2 goals. And Fort Lauderdale trying to find their first here. Reyes brought down by Walker. He's on a card already. See what Natalie Simon decides here. Subs coming on for Greenville. A few debuts here. Harry Hawkins announced signing this week for Greenville. Another player formerly of Loudoun United. Lachlan McLean also coming on. Someone fans have been very excited about. Forward out of Australia. Fricky's day is done. That's certainly what 5 substitutions helps with squad rotation. Able to get extra players some playing time to stay fresh. The rest as well. Pilato makes way. McLean making his name known in the U20 league in Australia. 50 goals and 61 appearances. Ball whipped in, headed back. Schwartz is there, player for Toronto FC2 last season. A regular early on, 6 appearances, but did not appear in the final 19 games. John Hart's telling us he does like McLean's ability to hold up the ball and spur on his teammates around him. And he said he even got better technically in his own work during the stoppage and play. Playing at the U20 level in Australia. Went to school at SIU Edwardsville. He scored 20 goals in his career and also 8 appearances for Chicago FC United, USL League 2, a team that's always competing in League 2. Here comes Bucknor on for his debut for Fort Lauderdale CF. Native of Weston, 18 years old. There's his first touch. Saavedra giving it off. Now he gets it back. Keegan dealing with the traffic, wins a throw-in for the Triumph. Blaine Ferry all over the central midfield in this one. Bringing the ball up again. Knocked back, here's Frey. Gives it off wide. Fort Lauderdale can't find the back of the net. Lopez Espin was there. So was Hawkins, but they do win the corner. 86th minute, still life here in the wings for Fort Lauderdale. Chipped in, traffic at the back, but headed out of play by Nodarse. Now look here, Jay just caught up in the traffic. As Lopez Espin was there as well, actually went off the shoulder of Nodarse and out. Sigh of relief for the Triumph on that occasion. California native sends it off into the night. Buckner sends it up ahead. Here's Ferry. Goes down against Lee. Ferry. Reyes into the box. Slips. His hand did touch the ball, and this will be called back. Reyes showing his ability to open up the wings and with the speed going on the sideline. Bullock stepping up, gets it to Keegan. Bullock playing around Carrasco, he goes down and a foul is called by Simon. Here's the debate we're having right now. Ferry goes down, so does Lee. And Simon maybe was getting set to make that a call, but dropped her whistle. Nonetheless, didn't affect too much. As McLean loses it out of play, and it's back to Fort Lauderdale with a goal kick. Chipped ahead, a good run here, and another offsides call against Fort Lauderdale CF. That's been a theme tonight. Greenville's been able to get the trap on them multiple times. That'll be number 6. We'll see how much stoppage time we have, but Greenville doing what they did so well last year, getting an early lead and just clamping down on things. Donnelly now on the right wing. Saavedra going down against Stripling. And it will be a yellow for Stripling. Five minutes of stoppage time here at Inter Miami CF Stadium. Last opportunities for Fort Lauderdale CF. Hawkins there, over his head along with Lopez Espin. Swartz clearing it down the field. There's Carrasco. Knocked ahead, Bucknor. Skying that one into the stands. It's back to a goal kick for Jay. Another look at that one. And Lopez Espin, it seemed, wanted that one back on a bit of a give and go. Saavedra, header by Stripling. Kadiri, trapped by his former teammates. Out, and it stays with the Triumph. From this match, we do know that League One sides will have to figure out this three-man back line of Fort Lauderdale. They're able to really decipher the Triumph defense at times very well, but unable to find that final stroke inside the box to get on the scoreboard. The Triumph, they can absorb and counterattack, and that's what they have to do tonight. Abdi Mohammed. And a foul is called on Mohammed. He has looked very good in his debut for the Triumph. A few key interceptions early on in the match to spur on the offense. Buckner rolls all the way back to Jay. Cleared up and away by Nadarse. As Donnelly applauds the service from Jay. Offsides flag is up as we tick down to the final few seconds of stoppage time on this League One opener in 2020. And Fort Lauderdale CF still trying to get their first goal. But to no avail, as this will be a goal kick and maybe the final kick of this match. John Harkes and his side will be happy with the result tonight. Fort Lauderdale, on the scoreline, it looked like they were blown away a bit, but in the end, a solid performance as Greenville takes the 3 points to start off 2020. 2 goals, including Alex Morel in his debut for Greenville, tallying a goal and an assist over to his teammate Jake Keegan. 2019 finalists starting off 2020 in the win column, 2-0 to the Triumph as we open up 2020. Of course, shortly we will have full-time stats and highlights here from Inter Miami CF Stadium. After the goals from Keegan and Morel, it's Greenville heading back to the upstate with 3 points. Some solid performances tonight for new players in green, and that includes Alex Morel, a goal and an assist for the former Tormenta man. 2-0 to the Triumph as we get set to check out our full match highlights here from Fort Lauderdale. A solid performance from really both sides in this match. It was close early on. Greenville was able to strike first. Here's the real opportunity in the match for Fort Lauderdale, as Ascona at the top of the box gets a strike off here. Diving stop by Jay, and a second one at that, as Lopez Aspen was right there on the doorstep. Cardenas trying to keep the play alive, but just couldn't in the end, as already Dallas J having become save the day for Greenville. Alex Morel and Greenville would pepper chances against Castanheira. That one having to be fisted away from his right paw as Walker got the header onto it. But Abdi Mohammed created so many chances, intercepting the ball, stepping up the field. This time it was almost a goal for Jake Keegan as Morel sent it back over, but the right boot sending it out of play. It was right at the end line here. Morel cutting it back to Keegan, and maybe a solid combo here in 2020. Walker stealing the ball back, and there's Alex Morel wide open. And for the second straight season, he scores the first goal among all League One teams. Sliding that on by Castanheira, 1-0 at the end of the first half for Greenville, and they would start off the second half just as well. Morel again on the ball. The assist to Jake Keegan, a one-hop to the top of his head After leading Greenville in goals last season, Gary has won here in 2020 with that skip in. 2-0 just after the second half. And from there, Greenville really clamped down on Fort Lauderdale, and home side was not able to get much going. Their 2 shots on target both occurred in the first half. They were able to get 3 shots in the second half, and Greenville dominated things in terms of chances and slowed down the game as they have done to get that clean sheet in the second half. 3 yellows for Greenville. Some dangerous areas there maybe to get a second, but in the end they avoided on the night, getting the 2-0 win against Fort Lauderdale CF. Well, we're off to a start with this appetizer in USL League One. We hope you'll join us next weekend for all the teams to be in action here on ESPN+. Greenville at the top of the table to start things off with 3 points on the goals by Keegan and Morel. And of course, those saves by Jay. Fort Lauderdale CF looking solid, but looking to build ahead to the future with their young talent. We'll see both sides next week in action on ESPN+. I'm Chris McCovic for our entire crew. Enjoy the rest of your night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.